And we are moving on to story number 9. It's the Community Insider, our weekly partnership with the LA Sentinel, and correspondent Niele Anderson joining us in studio with more. Welcome. Always good to have you.
Good to see you.
And we want to start out by talking about Mayor Bass and her partnership with HUD.
Yeah, most importantly, this story is about prevention. So we know we have a huge homeless crisis here in LA. And so under her leadership, the city council just approved $150 million for low-income rental assistance, tenant protection, cash assistance. And what makes this important is because the voters helped push this through. So in 2022, we voted, voters passed Measure ULA. And that measure, it basically, if you sell a home for $5 million, they're taxed 4%, $10 million, 5.5, and that's where this funding is coming from. And we know we have a homeless crisis and we need to fix it, but this is all about prevention. And the mayor believes this is a way to prevent Angelenos from falling into the homeless crisis. And why this story is important to the LA Sentinel is because African Americans make up 8% of the population, but 34% of the homeless crisis. So this story is important for us to track, to keep up with, so that Black Americans know what we need to do to combat this crisis.
Yeah, certainly impacting the community, for sure. All right, let's talk about the Mothers in Mourning March. What is this?
Yes, this is under Assemblymember Mike Gibson, who was at the state capitol pushing for criminal justice reform, police reform. And so this right here is for families that have been impacted by gun violence. So it's called the Mothers in Mourning March. It's happening at Jordan High School, right? It starts there. And they're expecting about 1,000 people.
Wow.
And he believed that this was important because he found out from the young people in Watts, they believe and they say that we are trained to survive. And that is so horrible to hear kids, little kids who should just be playing and evolving, that they believe that they are training to survive.
Wow.
So this march is to empower, to shed light, and the East Side Riders Bike Club is involved, the Compton NAACP, Grieving Hearts Foundation, and many others. So we just applaud Assemblymember Mike Gibson for staying at the forefront of criminal justice reform, police reform, and the community.
Okay, and finally, we are talking football. You all are focusing on a Chargers rookie who's sidelined right now, but he's certainly a force to be reckoned with.
Right. The sad news is he's suffering from a hamstring, so he's on the injured list. But nonetheless, we're rooting for him. He's a Crenshaw High School alumni. He's a linebacker, and so in the article, he talks about how he wants to make many interceptions. So we're hoping that he heals swiftly and quickly, and he's back on that field.
Can't wait to read about this. I just love him. Dayon Henley. All right. Thank you so much. Certainly appreciate it. And of course, for all the information on these stories and so much more, check out this week's edition of the Los Angeles Sentinel. Scan the QR code on your screen for all of the details.